Part 125. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng-Qing Yang. Chapter 1243. In this chaotic battle, almost the entire forest and mountains were destroyed. Everyone was rushing towards the ancient black fire pillar in a chaotic manner, and then they were blocked by others. The scene was extremely chaotic. Everyone had to face many enemies at the same time. No matter who rushed to the front, they would be attacked by concentrated fire immediately. Many people even touched the ancient black fire pillar, but they overestimated their resistance to the ancient black fire. As soon as they touched it, their souls were burned. The pain made their huge totem beasts roll on the ground. It was impossible to pull them directly into the space jade pendant and take them away. There are many opponents that Zhang Zizai can't deal with here. Their control over the totem beasts makes his scalp numb. To be honest, if it weren't for the two-world symbol, it would be difficult for him to participate in this level of competition, especially if there are other strong people hidden in the dark. In this battle, the most dazzling one is a star from the Galaxy Divine Realm. This is the top god king of the Galaxy Divine Realm. His body is very shining, with sharp edges and corners, and he rushes through it at a very fast speed, knocking people and horses to the ground for a while. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. It's just that it's difficult for him to get close to the ancient black fire pillar. The more he stands out, the more people will stop him. There is also a white tiger that is very violent. Such a body is simply born for fighting. The sharp claws are enough to make everyone retreat. The battle between the god kings is very rough. Everyone looks like a beast, or something else, but it does not affect their use of battle tactics, control of totem magic weapons, and even use of magic symbols. This is the biggest difference between them and the Divine Beast King. They are not divine beasts, but totems. Get out of here, you can't do it at all. My soul is strong, and only I can try. You're dreaming, where did it come from? As long as we take it away, sooner or later we will have the day to control the heavenly artifact. Don't we all think so? Whoever wants to take it, risk your life to take it? If I can't get it, no one else can. A quarter of an hour later, the scene was already very chaotic, and everything was annihilated. Many gods were even scarred, but the area near the ancient black fire pillar was still intact. Zhang Zizai had been prepared for a long time, but before the strong man made a move, he was still forbearing. At this time, he had to control his crazy heart. He estimated that he could hardly bear it, because in front of him, in the continuous battles, the state of these gods was already very bad, and some were even seriously injured. They had no choice but to dodge to the side, and the rest who were still fighting hard were basically at the end of their strength. It's time. While Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul was paying attention, the strong man finally moved. He rushed out from the darkness, as if no one was around, and headed towards the ancient black fire pillar. The Holy Phoenix Clan, the Green Phoenix God King. Yes, it's Li Qingfeng. He is the 8th level God King. The appearance of this man directly put everyone in a state of collapse. They obviously knew that this guy might have been hiding nearby for a long time. Now that he took action again, it was almost certain that the ancient black fire pillar basically belonged to him. After all, he was stronger than everyone else, and it was still intact. If he came out at the beginning, he might be besieged by everyone and lose the chance to compete, but now, even if he was besieged, it was not certain how long he could be held back. As he moved forward, he suddenly changed from a human form into a green phoenix. The green phoenix was extremely huge, larger than the totem beasts of all the people present. The burning green flame swept across, instantly turning the surroundings into a green sea of fire, trapping all the gods in it and burning. The temperature of the green sea of fire was very high, and in an instant, the surrounding soil was all turned into black scorched earth. Li Qingfen was indeed extremely powerful when he made a move, and he was indifferent and merciless. He may not be the most talented here, but after all, he is the deepest in realm, and he naturally has an advantage. It is not unreasonable for the major divine domains to choose the gods to come in and use strength as the second choice. There are even divine domains that use strength as the first choice. The strongest gods are sent out, so that at least in the fight, they will not be at a disadvantage, let alone be killed easily. Stop him. If you don't want him to take it, attack together. If we drive him away, we still have a chance. If we don't join forces, we won't have any chance at all. In fact, Zhang Zizai felt that he shouldn't attack everyone at this time. If the green sea of fire covered everyone, it would be equivalent to offending everyone. After all, it was a kind of contempt. In this way, the god kings who were originally timid and retreating became fierce. After all, he had bullied them to their faces. Everyone's status was similar, but Li Qingfen happened to be older and stronger. Action together. When all the injured god kings chose to besiege the Green Phoenix god king, Zhang Zizai's goal was completely achieved. This was his best chance. Even if these people might not be able to stop the Green Phoenix god king in their current state, it was enough for him. As long as the Green Phoenix god king took action, Zhang Zizai could take action. If he doesn't make a move, there will be someone watching the ancient black fire pillar in the dark, and he might make a mistake. But now even the Green Phoenix god king is focusing on the battle, and no one is paying attention to the ancient black fire pillar. After all, for them, the outcome of the battle determines the ownership of the heavenly artifact, and the peripheral vision of the eyes is enough to see if anyone is approaching the heavenly artifact. This is Zhang Zizai's best chance. He saw at a glance that the Green Phoenix overwhelmed the heroes. These people consumed a lot of energy and could not stop Li Qingfen at all. He still knew his own strength very well. You have no chance, don't waste your time, get out of here, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. The voice of the Green Phoenix god * was indifferent, and when the huge wings swept across, the flames surged, and no one could stop it. At the moment when his attention was focused on the fight and the final suppression, Zhang Zizai quietly put his palm into the white talisman, and then stretched out from the black talisman under the ancient black fire pillar. The position of the black talisman was less than 1 foot away from the ancient black fire pillar. The ancient black fire actually burned into the soil, but in fact, there was no impression of the black talisman. Instead, when Zhang Zizai's palm came here and was surrounded by the ancient black fire, his heavenly soul was directly burned. At that moment, Zhang Zizai felt a terrible disaster. The pain of the burning of the heavenly soul was as painful as the burning of the flesh. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1244. However, his soul was strong and stable after all, stronger than everyone present, and his ability to withstand the ancient black fire was also strong. In this case, he went all out. His Chaos Soul Bell could not only attack, but also protect. At this time, he used the Chaos Soul Bell to protect the heavenly soul, and he felt much better. Most of the burning of the ancient black fire was blocked outside by the Chaos Soul Bell. After all, it was a heavenly artifact of the same level. In this way, Zhang Zizai took the opportunity to reach out and grab the lower end of the ancient black fire pillar. Although he suffered a more terrible burning, he still gritted his teeth and persisted. He pulled hard and pulled the ancient black fire pillar out from there 10 miles away. Zhang Zizai did not hesitate. Now that he could move the heavenly artifact, he could put it into the space jade pendant. In fact, this heavenly artifact was completely a soul attack type, so it was easier to put it into the space jade pendant. It had no impression of all Zhang Zizai's items inside. Only when there were living beings next to it could it be worse than death. In this way, the mission was accomplished. The second thing he did was to shrink the black talisman and leave. The black talisman came out from deep underground, quietly hiding and escaping silently. After all, the shape was too small, and the black talisman itself had a hidden formation diagram, so Zhang Zizai was roughly sure that the black talisman could leave smoothly. After all, it was a heavenly god talisman and it was not so easy to be caught. He was not in a hurry to leave. Anyway, his heavenly god soul could control the overall situation, and few people knew him. When he was ready to leave, he also observed the situation over there. The sudden disappearance of the ancient black fire pillar was too fantastic for the fighting gods. They were completely stunned and stopped fighting instantly and stood still. The next moment, the huge white tiger laughed and said, "Let you fight for too long. Qingyang Taigu God took back the heavenly artifact, haha." After all, it disappeared suddenly. Many people were immersed in the battle and didn't look over here. Li Qingfeng was originally within easy reach, but now he had such a look on his face. His face turned pale and he changed into a human form. His whole body was shaking. At this time, he rushed to the position of the heavenly god artifact just now, and no one cared. That's not right. I really want to see that the ancient black fire pillar suddenly sank, as if it went underground. Suddenly someone whispered. Underground, Li Qingfeng stood by and saw a small pit in the ground. He stretched out his hand and patted it. The surrounding soil, which was 10 feet deep, was padded up. There was nothing inside. Really disappeared? Did the Qingyang ancient god take it away? It must be, haha, some people thought they had it for sure. Li Qingfeng was indeed the most uncomfortable. He was the one who had the most hope of getting it, but now he had nothing to show for it, and he had no clue at all. It was really frustrating. It's impossible for it to appear and then be taken back. If it's so strange, there may be only one possibility. Some time ago, a supreme dragon named Zhang Zizai got the Two Realms talisman. The Two Realms talisman has black and white talismans, which can steal anything. How do you know that when we were fighting just now, the black talisman was not under this heavenly artifact? Li Qingfeng said coldly. Zhang Zizai didn't expect that this person was so smart that he could lock himself. Two Realms talisman. Yes, if it wasn't taken back by Qingyang Taigu God, it might be the Two Realms talisman. It might have been taken away by Zhang Zizai. Is he likely nearby? Chase. Everyone realized this and began to search the 10-mile range. Unfortunately, Zhang Zizai knew where everyone was. As long as he was not locked by the other party, it would be difficult for everyone to get close to him. Moyun God King Li Qingfeng suddenly locked onto a person. He was a God King of the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan, who was at the 6th level of God King. In the previous fight, he was also injured. What's the matter? The God King Moyun knew that he was in trouble when he saw many people staring at him. We won't make it difficult for you. Tell us who Zhang Zizai is, what his background is, what he looks like, draw his portrait, and describe his characteristics. If you cooperate well, you can leave safely. If you don't cooperate, you may have to pay some price. After all, we all want to know about Zhang Zizai, and it won't be a loss for you. The God King Moyun thought about it for a while. He and Zhang Zizai didn't have much friendship, so he answered Li Qingfeng very straightforwardly, saying, "No problem, I can tell you in detail." Portrait. I have an image symbol that records his appearance here. Zhang Zizai couldn't help but feel depressed. This God King Moyun was really shameless. He betrayed himself so quickly and provided them with convenience. Then he did tell us about Zhang Zizai's information, even including the 9-dragon Chaos God Bell. You said, he is a god, everyone's eyes lit up. A very gifted God King. There may not be such a gifted God King in the entire ancient realm, God King Moyun added. No matter how gifted he is still a God King. No matter who he meets, he will have to hand over everything. You are right, This kid is so bold because of his outstanding talent, but the ancient realm is not his battlefield. Do you remember what this person looks like? We must catch him before he sacrifices the heavenly divine artifact. The ancient black fire god pillar is not the 9-dragon chaos god Bel of their supreme dragon clan. It is not so easy for him to control it. It will take at least 2 or 3 years, or even decades, hundreds of years, or even thousands of years. Everyone still has a chance. Besides, Qingyang ancient god said that if you kill him, you can get the Two Realms talisman. Everyone seemed to have a goal, and they were all very enthusiastic. To them, Zhang Zizai was now a moving treasure. Li Qingfen knew the answer he wanted. He knew that Zhang Zizai might not have gone far. Now was the best time to search and try his luck. He just relied on the Two Realms talisman. Once he met anyone, he would have no way to survive. We still have to find this person as soon as possible. From now on, he has become the treasure itself. After all, the strength of the god is too weak in the ancient realm. What's the use of his talent? Li Qingfen narrowed his eyes and prepared to leave. Hey, there are more words. Everyone was attracted. They saw golden words appearing on the surrounding soil and tree trunks. It said, Supreme Dragon Clan, Zhang Zizai, obtained the heavenly artifact ancient black fire god pillar. The rest can be obtained by killing them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1245. Unexpectedly, Qingyang ancient god personally reminded him, and also directly marked it again. Killing Zhang Zizai can get the divine weapon, and there is no need to worry about it being taken back by Qingyang ancient god. This news directly sent everyone into a state of frenzy. But Li Qingfen was not happy. What are you excited about? In this way, all the god kings in the ancient realm know that he is a favorite, and you can still have your share. Originally, only they knew about it, but this golden text is obviously a reminder to everyone. So now the competitors have become everyone. By the way, depressed. Our only advantage is that we know this kid's appearance and characteristics, while others don't know much. I guess everyone else who meets the Supreme Dragon Clan's God King will want to ask about Zhang Zizai. They also said they were depressed. The most depressed person was Zhang Zizai. It was already dangerous enough for dozens of people to guess that he had succeeded. However, the loudspeaker was once again announced throughout the ancient realm, and it was also said that he could kill it. Isn't it fatal? The talisman of the two worlds and the ancient black fire god pillar are both hot potatoes. If you want to gain fortune here, you have to pay a price. It is definitely not that easy. The key is that there are so many powerful god kings here, and many of them are even close to gods. When choosing each god's domain, talent may be considered, but in such a battlefield, no talent is considered at all, only strength. To survive here. To be on the safe side, he had better hide and try to sacrifice this divine weapon first. To be honest, it was so difficult for him to master the 9 dragons chaos divine bell, so he probably didn't expect to be able to master this ancient black fire divine pillar soon. It is normal for it to take many years. After all, this is not an artifact of the dragon god realm and has nothing to do with the divine dragon. Zhang Zizai did not continue walking to the west, but went south in this wilderness, first away from the place where the ancient black fire pillar appeared before, and then looking for a quiet place in an abyss mountain stream with no people everywhere. He has the keen intuition of the god soul, so he basically doesn't worry about letting others sneak up on him. To be honest, with the advantage of the god soul, as long as he doesn't take the initiative to approach others, it will be difficult for others to find him. Go to the sky. Once they got close, Zhang Zizai would be the first to notice them and could leave at a suitable distance. Now I guess many people know that he is just a God King, his combat power is only the third level of God King, but he has two kinds of treasures, and they can be killed. It is estimated that this group of God Kings all dream of finding Zhang Zizai. He and a young boy who had no power to fight back was carrying a large basin of gold, just like walking in the wilderness where bandits were rampant. Anyone who saw him was lucky. It's just that people don't know that this young child has the eyes of the sky. He doesn't need to meet anyone if he doesn't want to, and he will know whoever comes close to him. Pausing here, Zhang Zizai was ready to think about this ancient black fire pillar for the first time. Before that, he suddenly discovered that a line of golden text appeared again on the trees around him, which was another reminder from the Qingyang ancient god. Zhang Zizai really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He discovered that this ancient existence actually liked to tease others. It felt like a game, and thousands of them were the characters being played. The text above reads, "The Supreme Dragon Clan, Tianlong God King Zhang Junjian, has obtained the divine weapon Teihao Tian Tat. The rest can be obtained by killing them, and it will be valid for 1 year." This made Zhang Zizai couldn't help but laugh. He knew that this being was very special, but he didn't expect him to be so powerful. He was able to get 2 things because of good luck. If he had let Mu Yuan kill him in the first place, it would have been Mu Yuan who got the talisman of the 2 worlds. Unfortunately, Mu Yuan would not have come to the west, and he probably would not have encountered Teiku. Black Fire Divine Pillar, but to be honest, wherever the ancient Black Fire Divine Pillar was thrown, it was not all arranged by the ancient god Qingyang. The ancient god of Qingyang, and the ancient realm is actually the origin continent of the Qingyang realm. I don't know if these 2 Qingyangs are connected. He accidentally thought of this, but he could only guess. However, we all got the divine weapon. Why is it so unfair? Killing me is obviously effective for 5 years, but why is it only effective for 1 year when the heavenly dragon god king is killed? He really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Emotions alone are going to be hunted down. When he first entered Zilong Academy, he was targeted because of the Immortal Lord's matter. Now that he is here, he is being targeted again because of the important treasure he obtained in the beginning. He was too lazy to worry about so much. Anyway, he didn't know what the rules of the 49 sacrifices were. Anyway, he just made himself stronger along the way. Teihaoshan Tower? He didn't have a divine weapon before, maybe it can make him much stronger. I don't know which one is stronger, this Teihaoshan Tower, or my ancient black fire pillar. I guess they are different types. I am completely attacking the soul. Divine weapon, but in fact, this is often the most terrifying. He began to study the ancient black fire god pillar. Now the ancient black fire god pillar has shrunk a lot. It is only about the height of eyebrows. It looks like a very ordinary black iron rod inserted in the ground. At that time, although the black flames were burning on it, it would not have the slightest impact on the land and vegetation. As long as Zhang Zizai touched it even slightly, even with the Chaos Soul Bell protecting his body, he would get a headache. It's just that the so-called pain has been too much for him, so he gritted his teeth, held the artifact with both hands, and entered his spiritual will into the world inside it. As soon as he entered, he saw endless black inside. Ocean of flames. Suddenly, a sharp bird cry almost pierced the soul. In Zhang Zizai's field of vision, a black crow flew out from the sea of fire. The crow was strange and gloomy, staring at Zhang Zizai with cold eyes. This was the spirit of the heavenly artifact. Only by conquering it could the heavenly artifact be conquered and truly recognized as the master. Boom. The other party said nothing. It knew that Zhang Zizai was going to come in and control it, so it gave a direct response, which was to raise the waves of the black flame ocean and directly hit Zhang Zizai. Maybe as long as Zhang Zizai could hold on, he would be able to get good fortune. Now, he does not really own the ancient black fire pillar. Whoosh! The surging waves of the ancient black fire swept over. In fact, these flames had entered Zhang Zizai's body, rushed into the sea of life, and entangled on his heavenly soul, still burning wildly. Zhang Zizai wanted to use the ancient black fire to attack the enemy. He first needed to be able to withstand the crazy attack of the ancient black fire. Ah! Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1246. This feeling was indeed terrifying. Even if he had a divine soul, he felt like he would be burned to ashes very soon. It was so painful that he couldn't bear to die. At this time, he simply used the Tegzu Universe Soul Refining Technique to put the God Soul into a special state. He has experienced too many Tegzu Universe Soul Refining Techniques, and the benefits at this time are huge. I finally managed to hold on this time. Although it was still painful, I could at least hold on. The crow seemed a little surprised to see that he was able to hold on, but he set off more waves of flames again and headed towards Zhang Zizai again. Hoo ho ho! This time the number was at least 3 times, which directly posed a fatal threat. Zhang Zizai gritted his teeth and endured, continuing to use the Tegzu Universe Soul Refining Technique. Although the pain suddenly increased and his whole body was trembling, in terms of spiritual will, he was already very strong. He knew that he came here to let Longyan survive. Compared to life and death, what is this kind of suffering? If you are not the pinnacle of this world, you cannot really control your own destiny. Anyone can lead me by the nose. Anyone can arrange me and control my life. He wanted to face the immortal Lord in a new way, and he absolutely could not let Yanner die in front of him. She was innocent. This was the most unbearable thing in his life. So when you are in pain, think about your non-existent dignity when facing the immortal Lord, think about Yanner's life and death, and you will know what to do. The strength of his mental will once again exceeded the crow's expectations. It once again rolled up a bigger wave and swept across it again. At this moment, Zhang Zizai's whole body was burning with ancient black fire, and he seemed to be unscathed. In fact, for any god king, this is almost fatal. Zhang Zizai was still insisting. This was almost 10 times as strong as the first time. Only then did he take out his trump card and use the Chaos Soul Bell to protect the heavenly soul. The reason why he didn't do this at the beginning was because I don't want to directly protect myself with the Chaos Soul Bell and let the god of this artifact look down upon me. Kill, with the Chaos Soul Bell, Zhang Zizai could not protect, and could even counterattack. Under the terrifying burning of the ancient black fire, the Chaos Soul Bell was struck by his soul, and he directly used the shock of the soul-killing song. The impact of destroying the ancient black fire time and time again made this wave roll very chaotically. The crow screamed, and it rolled the ancient black fire crazily and burned Zhang Zizai, as if it was going to kill Zhang Zizai, or maybe he wanted to compete with the Chaos Soul Clock. This was the real battle. Zhang Zizai was also provoked to a rage. He frantically incited the Chaos Soul Clock, and the terrifying soul sound waves collided with the waves of flames. After repeated confrontations, Zhang Zizai was still at a disadvantage at the beginning. But he became more and more familiar with it, and the provoked Chaos Soul Bell was erupting with more terrifying power on its own. Maybe the crow didn't expect that a guy who was just a god king could suppress him like a god. In this collision of souls, Zhang Zizai's terrifying fighting spirit and strong spirit directly convinced the gods. Suddenly, the crow let out a scream, turned into black fire all over the sky, and merged into the waves. Zhang Zizai he suddenly discovered that his blood brand had entered the ancient black fire pillar. When his spiritual will came back, he opened his eyes and held the artifact in his hand. From this moment on, the artifact had surrendered to him. He no longer has to be burned by the ancient black fire. Success. The ancient black fire god pillar turned into a black stick brand and was attached to Zhang Zizai's right arm. Whenever Zhang Zizai wanted to use it, it would appear in his hand at any time. One on the arm, one on the back, these two divine weapons are absolutely unimaginable by any god king. Many gods may have only one divine weapon. This may be an uproar-like shock to the entire 49 divine realms. However, Zhang Zizai was still in a calm mood. He knew that he had a long way to go. As for the power of the ancient black fire god pillar, he was only familiar with how to use it, but in fact, he couldn't see her power at all because it was attacking mountains, rocks, and earth. At that time, it was no different from the God King level totem weapon. Its lethality could only be known when facing a creature with a divine soul. With the Chaos Soul Clock, the ancient black fire divine pillar, and my divine soul, my current attainments in divine soul attack and defense are probably unparalleled by anyone in the ancient realm. The cultivation of the soul is secondary to most people. After all, there is no good cultivation method. However, Zhang Ziyu is extremely terrible in this aspect. He has a hunch that no matter how powerful the opponent is, he may be able to do this. Restricted by him, because this is the lethality of the two heavenly artifacts. It took several days to completely comprehend the ancient black fire god pillar, and Zhang Zizai's confidence became much stronger. The next question he thought about was, in terms of the divine soul, I am strong enough, but in terms of the divine source realm, I still have a big disadvantage. In this ancient realm, there is basically no one with a lower realm than me. Therefore, improving one's realm is the foundation of being a god king. The cultivation of the God King is mainly the comprehensive improvement of the divine body and divine source, and the growth of the totem beast. It is twofold. The totem divine aspect mainly lies in the solidification of the totem divine aspect. Now is the training of the totem beast. The cultivation of the God King can be described in words, but it is actually very simple, that is, the growth of the totem beast. Theoretically, for a single totem behemoth, the larger the size, the greater the divine source, the higher the realm, and the stronger the strength. For example, Zhang Zizai's chaos-swallowing sky dragon is not large now, and it is obviously at a low level, but as long as it grows, it can also turn into a giant dragon, covering the sky and blocking the sun. For example, Li Qingfeng's phoenix was very huge before, and it definitely reached the level of covering the sky and blocking the sun. In fact, after becoming a god king, the body seems to be a totem beast, and the human form has become a state of change and suppression. This is Zhang Zizai's understanding. Because after changing into a totem beast, you can see that the current god source is actually very large, with a diameter of more than 6 feet, so you can see how much ancient god source power there is. Normally, when you reach the 9th level of God King, the volume of the God Source alone may reach a diameter of more than 10 feet. After turning into a human body, the God Source you see is only the size of a fingertip, which is not the appearance of a real God Source. Of course, not everyone's totem beast is like this, and occasionally other totems will have special states. Moreover, the size of different totems cannot be completely regarded as a comparison of strength. For example, an elephant totem and an insect totem, after the elephant totem changes into a totem beast, the first level of the God King may be very huge, larger than the 9th level of the God King of the insect totem, but it does not mean that the elephant totem is stronger. There are still many exceptions to the size of the totem beast. However, in the Supreme Dragon Clan, the realm and the body are related and proportional. The more powerful the God King, the larger the body. And now, what Zhang Zizai lacks is the practice method that allows his totem beast to grow, the God King level practice method. He came to the Totem Sea again, wanting to get a more advanced practice method from the Yuanqi Shenglong Sutra. This is what he has been practicing all the time, and naturally he cannot stop practicing other things. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1247. The road to becoming a God King has just begun. It is said that in the subsequent cultivation, one will gradually realize that the totem beast seems to be his true body. Who is real and who is changing, one needs to know clearly. Some people think that people are the root, and some people think that people themselves are the initial state of the totem beast. In fact, as long as one walks on the road to becoming a god king, anyone can become a totem. Every god realm has a living beings pool. Zhang can now go to the living beings pool and separate his totem into countless natal totems, which are scattered in the living beings pool. The mortals in the totem world have the opportunity to get his totems in the origin pillar. This is an instinct that only comes after becoming a god king. To him, those tiny natal totems are just fragments, just like dandruff scattered down, but can change the fate of many mortals. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Every god king has the obligation to go to the pool of all beings. The arrangement of each god realm is different. Zhang Zizai has just become a god king, and he is still in the ancient realm, so of course he does not need it for the time being. It seems that the god king is the realm of growth of a totem beast. When you just become a god king, it is like a newly born little beast. After growing up little by little, you finally have the capital to sprint to the path of the gods. My current path is just the beginning. Growth is the key word for practicing in the realm of God King. After realizing this theme, Zhang Zizai's thoughts in his heart became much clearer. Facing his natal totem again, Zhang Zizai knew that the totem itself was not simple, which made him what he is now, especially the black petals, which are still weird and dreamy. Yuanqi Shenglongjing started practicing from the Wuming realm, and until now the totem god has been completed. Is there any content in the future? Zhang Zizai needs to explore it by himself. When his thoughts were clear, his communication with this natal totem seemed to be much smoother. Zhang Zizai was sometimes quite surprised, because this thing was sometimes like himself and sometimes not like himself. There was actually room for thinking about the relationship between himself and the natal totem. If he was the natal totem, then where did he belong? Was it the parents who gave birth to him and gave him flesh and blood, or a certain god king who gave him the natal totem in the pool of all living beings? After all, he inherited his totem and became a totem beast. There seemed to be no answer to this question. But the technique he wanted had an answer. While thinking, the new part of the Yuanqi Shenlong Sutra had quietly appeared in his mind, just like Zhang Zizai recalled it. It appeared out of thin air, but as long as he remembered it, he would definitely remember it deeply, and he couldn't forget it even if he wanted to. Swallowing Yuanju. The cultivation method described in this technique surprised Zhang Zizai a little. He pondered carefully, and when he understood the entire technique thoroughly, he couldn't help but laugh and cry. Are these all coincidences? Or are they all designed? For the first time in his life, he felt that his fate was designed. The swallowing Yuanju describes a very rare and terrifying method of cultivation for the God King. The key to the cultivation of the God King is the growth of the totem beast, and the method of the swallowing Yuanju is to swallow the blood, flesh, and soul of other totem beasts and the God Beast King to strengthen oneself. Swallowing blood, flesh, and soul can strengthen the God body, and swallowing the God source can strengthen the God source. This is just like in the jungle of the mortal world, beasts such as tigers and lions also grow up by eating the blood and flesh of prey. The cultivation method is simple, direct, and rough, and it is classified as the most primitive swallowing, absorbing the blood, flesh, soul, and God source of other totem beasts to make oneself grow up. Of course, the swallowing Yuanju is indeed terrible, but not everyone can practice it. It can even be said that in this world, except Zhang Zizai, no one else can practice it, because the swallowing Yuanju needs the cooperation of the totem to truly digest and absorb it and turn it into one's own use. It requires a cultivator's God King level evolution source, a devouring type of evolution source, and ordinary ones are not enough. Perhaps only chaos devouring heaven can satisfy this requirement. Maybe I was able to obtain Chaos Devouring Heaven from the Origin Dragon Cave because I practiced the Yuanqi Holy Dragon Sutra? It seems that I still underestimated the role of Chaos Devouring Heaven as an evolution source. Perhaps using it with the Swallowing Yuanju is the real terrifying thing about this evolution source. Zhang Zizai understood that in fact, the Swallowing Yuanju is just a method, and Chaos Devouring Heaven is the foundation. Without Chaos Devouring Heaven, no matter who has the Swallowing Yuanju, it is impossible to use it in the same way as Zhang Zizai. I originally possessed the heart of the true dragon of reincarnation, which strengthened my cultivation of the God King realm several times. Now I have directly transformed my cultivation of the God King realm into the growth of a totem beast, returning to its original state and growing by swallowing. In this way, my cultivation of the God King realm will become very simple. Others may need hundreds or thousands of years to grow into a realm, but I may shorten the time by hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of times. Others may be stuck in a certain realm forever, but I only need to have the Swallowing Yuanju and the Chaos Swallowing Heaven, and my growth will be unstoppable by others. Moreover, this ancient realm is indeed a good environment. Other places cannot accommodate such terrible means. This is not a joke, this is really eating the opponent. In fact, Yanner also has a similar method, called refining blood into qi, but she never uses it. If she uses it, this girl may be stronger. Zhang Zizai knew that her bloodline was still very terrible. Yanner doesn't use it, but it doesn't mean Zhang Zizai doesn't use it. He is not a person who sticks to the rules. In other words, as long as Yanner can survive, there are no rules in his eyes. He is not afraid of killing and life and death. After strictly understanding the sparks of the collision between the Swallowing Yuanju and the Chaos Swallowing Heaven, Zhang Zizai does feel that he was set up. Why did Chaos Swallowing Heaven come to him? Is it really because he practiced the Yuanqi Shenglong Sutra? As for the Forbidden Dragon God, what attracted him? Why did the Nine-Dragon Chaos God Bel choose him? Is it because his totem can control all attributes? The heart of the true dragon of reincarnation, that was found by the black petals. Why did the heavenly soul and the time and space soul of the ancestral dragon tower choose him? Everything is because of the natal totem he got in the God box. So, who is Zhang Yunting who gave him the totem? There are too many secrets, but he can't figure them out. However, he is a person who is based on the basics. He can stop thinking about things that he can't figure out, but he must be strong and must get the first place in the 49 sacrifices. So he has started to act. Blood, flesh, essence, and soul? Divine source. He remembered Mu Yuan, whom he had killed before. His body was still in the Yanlong ruins. The Swallowing Yuanju recorded that after the death of the totem beast, its blood, flesh, essence, and soul can only be retained for a month at most, and the divine source will continue to dissipate, which can only last for a month at most. He has been out for a while, and he must speed up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1248. So, he quickened his pace this time, using Chaos Lightning and Purple Fire Sky Wings, two Chaos Giant Bells to hurry on his way, and using Heavenly God Soul to avoid risks. He rushed along the way. Although he met other God Kings again, Zhang Zizai basically crossed paths with them, and the other party had no idea that such a hotcake had passed by him. This time when he returned to Yanlongxiu, Zhang Zizai also had a very surprising discovery. He found a divine beast king. There are actually divine beasts here, which is definitely good news for him who now has the Swallowing Yuanju. This is a nine-headed sky demon snake king, living in a huge river, which may be one of the largest rivers in the Origin continent. The water is turbulent and the water is as deep as the sea. Looking at the size of this 9-headed sky demon snake king, it is at least similar to the totem beasts above the 7th level of the God King realm, which is not something Zhang Zizai can deal with now. He didn't think too much, just remembered this location and left here. For him now, this terrifying beast king can only be regarded as food that he can't eat. He is like a little lion in the jungle. When he encounters this big buffalo-level opponent, of course he still has to retreat first, and wait until he really grows into a lion before hunting. With the Beast King here, Zhang Zizai can live only for hunting in the next few days, because this is his current way of cultivation. It is completely different from the previous cultivation. Finally, he rushed back to Yanlongxiu, and Mu Yuan's body was still here. He was in human form before his death, so he is also in human form now. If he was a totem beast before his death, he must be now. It's more convenient to be in human form. Zhang Zizai saw that his divine body was still okay and there was still some divine source left. Without saying a word, he performed the swallowing Yuanju for the first time. He turned into a chaos-swallowing heaven dragon and swallowed Mu Yuan directly into his stomach. Under the dual effects of the swallowing Yuanju and the chaos-swallowing heaven evolution source, Mu Yuan was digested into two parts. The first part is his blood, flesh, and soul essence, which is like nutrients to Zhang Zizai. He can clearly see that in the digestion of the swallowing origin art and the chaos swallowing heaven, the blood, flesh, and soul essence are nourishing his own flesh and blood, making his divine body grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. The second part is the divine source. A part of Mu Yuan's divine source dissipated, and there is not much left. However, his divine source itself is much stronger than Zhang Zizai. When this divine source enters the vortex of the chaos swallowing heaven, it is refined by the swallowing heaven absolute and directly transformed into the most refined power. The swallowing origin art calls this power pure divine source. The pure divine source has completely removed all the marks on Mu Yuan, but it is not divine spirit. Only the swallowing origin art and the chaos swallowing heaven can create this pure divine source. When this pure divine source gathers in the destruction divine source, it is quickly assimilated by the destruction divine source and called a part of the destruction divine source. It takes about 100 portions of pure divine source to transform into one portion of the destruction divine source, which shows how domineering and mellow the destruction divine source is. In fact, in the process of refining the pure divine source, at least 90% of the dross was removed, and the divine source had been lost before, so this time Zhang Zizai's harvest of the divine source was not as good as the divine body. But if Mu Yuan had just died, the two might be about the same. Mu Yuan, who had been dead for a long time, was far from enough for Zhang Zizai to break through, but he used it for the first time just to confirm and try. After experiencing this refreshing process, he basically confirmed his success. This is his method of practicing the path of the Divine King. It may be different from everyone else, but this is his strength. With the high efficiency of the heart of the true dragon of reincarnation, his subsequent progress speed may be suffocating. Originally, everyone thought that he could be very fast in the ancient gods and gods, which was normal. When he reached the Divine King, he still had to spend thousands of years growing slowly like others, but Zhang Zizai would definitely exceed their expectations. Perhaps unknowingly, outside the sacrifice dragon divine domain, Zhang Zizai, who they sent to the ancient realm, had the qualifications to grow rapidly. He didn't want his life to be controlled by others, didn't want to be someone's pawn, didn't want to pretend in front of the gods. He didn't like the gods of the Supreme Dragon clan. He also had a lot to say. He needed to talk to the 9 immortals face to face, as an equal. Swallowing Mu Yuan, he didn't eat a person, but a giant beast, the great barbarian giant bull demon god. Now he felt full, and continued on his journey. Taking care of Mu Yuan basically laid the foundation for his future cultivation path as a god king. Zhang Zizai went west again. His current goal was very simple, which was to find the king of divine beasts. Under the wisdom of divine beasts, there was no difference between them and chickens, ducks, fish, and pigs in the mortal world. He grew up eating these meats. Facing divine beasts that were just stronger than countless others, Zhang Zizai didn't have any psychological burden. As for eating people, he felt a little weird in his heart. Although it was not a big problem, he was more inclined to set his goal on divine beasts. Survival of the fittest, the strong prey on the weak, is the foundation of the jungle and the world. Even in the evolutionary world, the dead beasts will actually be eaten. And Zhang Zizai's swallowing essence technique is not as simple as eating, but also a kind of refining, which is a high-end method. He now directly transformed into a hunter, covering the entire ancient realm with the heavenly god talisman, looking for traces of the beasts. He thought that this might be the edge of the origin continent, so there were not many beasts, so he was more inclined to continue to the core of this continent, which might also be the core of the origin continent. A few days later, Zhang Zizai suddenly stopped. He was walking in the forest, which was a little more hidden. At this time, a line of golden text appeared in the most conspicuous position in front of him. The reminder of Qingyang Taigu God appeared again. In the Chaos Demon realm, the illusion god King Yimeng obtained the heavenly god evolution source Xuanhuan and evolved successfully. Zhang Zizai stopped and was a little surprised. It turned out that someone from the Chaos Demon realm got the heavenly god evolution source. The heavenly god evolution source is very rare. In fact, to be honest, it may be more precious than the heavenly god artifact and the heavenly god talisman, because the heavenly god evolution source is the foundation of becoming a heavenly god. Without the heavenly god evolution source, even Zhang Zizai cannot become a heavenly god. Possessing the heavenly god totem can have oppression and huge advantages in the battle with the god king, which is equivalent to the difference between having a god-level totem and a mortal. Such a good fortune should be regarded as a step to heaven. The key is that this person has also evolved successfully, so maybe she is the only one in the entire Taigu realm who has a heavenly god totem. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1249. It is indeed incredible that people in the Chaos Demon realm have such good fortunes. So far, the people who have really made great gains are all from the Dragon Sacrifice God realm, which is quite interesting to say. I guess people from other divine realms are very jealous. Moreover, Zhang Zizai saw that there was no killable behind this prompt, which meant that there was no point in chasing down the Dream God King. She would not be like Zhang Zizai and the Heavenly Dragon God King in hunting down all of them. Lucky Zhang Zizai couldn't say anything about this. He could only quietly remember the name of the Dream God King, maybe he would meet him in the future. When he was outside the ancient realm, he only paid attention to the 9 gods of the underworld, and didn't pay much attention to the 5 people behind him. There are only 5 people in the Chaos Demon realm, but there are such people. It seems that the 9 immortals are also very capable in cultivating talents. It's just that it's obvious that the atmosphere in this ancient realm has become more tense. As he walked forward, he met 2 god kings within the coverage area of Xuanhuan. They came from the same god domain, and the 2 were also discussing the matter of the Dream King. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. What's going on? I've never heard of these 3 people from the Sacrifice Dragon God realm, the Huanmeng God King, Zhang Zizai, and Zhang Junjian. Are they all so lucky? Especially Zhang Zizai. Zhang Junjian, I have heard of the Heavenly Dragon God King. It is said that he is a small God King with terrible talents and has relatively few attacks, but I have never heard of the other 2. It's incredible. We still don't know what we can do in this ancient realm. It's good for them. They have gained one after another. It's still early. This is just the beginning. I can only use it. The future is still long. It's hard to say whether these people can keep the treasure. Besides, so many treasures have appeared in such a short time, which shows that Qingyang ancient god is ruthless this time. If you put down the money, everyone will have a chance. Which one is common? The talisman of the two worlds, the ancient black fire god pillar, the Taihao heavenly tower, and the Xuanhuan. Zhang Zizai didn't listen too much and passed directly by them. He had anticipated the reaction of the god kings in the ancient realm to these golden words. Their reactions were similar to what Zhang Zizai had guessed. Time is indeed still long, but he feels the urgency. If he wants to become as strong as possible within 5 years, he needs to keep fighting. Calculating the position, it is probably close to the 9-headed demonic snake king now. Zhang Zizai didn't think much and just marked a future prey. However, after possessing the Yuan swallowing technique, I suddenly felt greedy when I thought of this divine beast king. He laughed for a moment and moved on. As he was passing by, his god soul once again covered the river. What he never expected was that the 9-headed demonic snake king was fighting. No sound was heard here, but Zhang Zizai's god soul was the first to see it. Got to hear it? Its opponent was a huge black ape. The ape was huge and rough, with a steel-like body, extremely rough, and extremely strong flesh and blood. Zhang Zizi could tell at a glance that this was not a mythical beast king, but a certain god king. Totem beast. This black ape is very powerful. The current battle between the two is a stalemate, but it is obvious that the god king is hunting the 9-headed demonic snake king. Since he dares to take the initiative, he must think that he can take care of the 9-headed demonic snake king. What if he lost the body after hunting? Wouldn't he have made a lot of money? Originally deciding to deal with it in the future, Zhang Zizai quickly stopped and waited patiently, monitoring the battle scene over there with his divine soul at any time. Although the battle between the two was not as good as the last fight for the ancient black fire god pillar, it was still very exciting and explosive. The black ape rushed into the water, holding a golden sword in his hand, and slashed the demonic snake king on the first day kept resisting. His 9 heads were like an iron wall, and they were able to resist the golden sword. Moreover, this divine beast king was extremely poisonous. During the battle, a whole huge river was covered with it. It's green with thick smoke, and you can see the same on the black ape. Its black hair is rotting in the poison, but he seems to be able to hold on, so he's still attacking. This god king has the power of a totem, his methods are versatile, and his physical body is very strong, no worse than the 9-headed demon snake king, so it can still obviously form a kind of suppression. Even though the totem of the god beast king has many magical powers and can function and defend, it seems can't hold on for long. What is this guy's purpose in attacking the divine beast king? Even if he can win, it will be a miserable defeat at most. Isn't it necessary? After all, the water in the well does not interfere with the water in the river, unless there is something in this 9-headed demon snake king that interests him. Zhang Zizai looked a little nervous, fearing that the god king would beat his prey to pieces. After 2/4 of an hour, the two giant beasts killed the entire river, leaving a mess everywhere. The black ape was poisoned and turned green, and seemed to be dying, but the 9-headed demon snake king was even worse. All the knife marks on its body were densely covered, and green blood was flowing everywhere. Several of its heads were almost cut off by this guy, and they were hanging. It was the real serious injury. It was dying. If it continued like this, it obviously couldn't hold on anymore. For how long? Hand it over or die, the black ape suddenly shouted and killed again. At this moment, the 9-headed demon snake king seemed to have finally compromised. It lowered its head and suddenly spat out a very small broken crystal stone, which seemed to be a crystal fragment. It spat it towards Zhang Zizai. The black ape quickly chased after it, took the crystal fragment in his hand, and quickly put it away. At this time, the 9-headed demon snake king had already escaped into the river and quickly seized the opportunity to escape. When the entire river was already emerald green, it seemed a little difficult to find it again. Crystal fragment, Zhang Zizai didn't know what the crystal fragment was. In fact, he was not prepared just now and did not separate the black talisman. Otherwise, he could use the two-world talisman to grab it first. He missed this opportunity and let the God King get it first. It would be difficult to get it again. However, he had more important things in his mind. He remembered the crystal fragment, and the God King had no intention of chasing the nine-headed demon Snake King. He turned around and turned into a black young man and left quietly. Zhang Zizai's soul had locked onto the severely injured nine-headed sky demon Snake King that was escaping. It could evade anyone, but it couldn't evade Zhang Zizai's pursuit. With it severely injured and dying, Zhang Zizai felt that this might be his chance, so he chased after it. It's highly poisonous. He used the Chaos Water Bell and Chaos Gold Bell to protect his body, and used the 10,000 Green Waves and Platinum Bell cover to block the poisonous fog. This was the poison of the Divine Beast King, and it was no joke. The young man in black had actually consumed a lot of it. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1250. He was not in a hurry and just hung behind. When the nine-headed sky demon Snake King confirmed that the opponent had left and hid deep in the water to heal his wounds, Zhang Zizai approached quietly. In the process of approaching, he had already sacrificed the nine-dragon Chaos God Bell, first to protect himself, and then other aspects were ready. In his hand, the ancient black fire pillar appeared. The black fire on it was burning violently, but it did not interfere with the river water. He is now in human form and does sneak attacks at any time. When he approached quietly, he suddenly launched an attack. The Chaos Earth Bell, Chaos Wind Bell and Chaos Ice Bell directly restricted and controlled it. The next moment, the Chaos Soul Bell suppressed it on the top of his head and began to sound the Requiem. The opponent was the most exhausted. Under the dual control of the flesh and soul, it was actually difficult to react. When the Requiem turned into the soul-killing song, Zhang Zizai suddenly appeared, holding the ancient fire pillar with both hands, and smashed it down. The other party barely reacted and saw that it was Zhang Zizai. In fact, it was a little relaxed in its heart, because it was just afraid of the man just now. This time, the ancient black fire pillar smashed directly on one of the heads. When the black flames burned directly on his body, and Zhang Zizai continued to bombard it, it was too late. If it was not seriously injured and dying, Zhang Zizai would not dare to touch it. The soul-killing song broke out at this time. The power of the Chaos Soul Bell and the ancient black fire pillar combined was simply a nightmare level. Coupled with the suppression of other Chaos Giant Bells, and Zhang Zizai's control of the time and space power of the time-breaking blade and the sky-splitting slash, under a bombardment, the soul of the Beast King, which was relatively fragile, could not be stopped at all. In addition, its advantage was already dying, and under the two-sided situation, Zhang Zizai was smashed to death instantly, and died. His divine body was already dying. At this time, the soul was hit hard and collapsed, and this huge body lost its voice directly. Success. To defeat such a big prey, he had to thank the person just now, otherwise Zhang Zizai would have no chance at all. He covered the surroundings with the heavenly soul, and had an advanced judgment of danger, so he was not particularly impatient. He first transformed into the totem beast Chaos Swallowing Sky Dragon. Facing such a big nine-headed demon Snake King, it was impossible to eat it. He could only transform into a black vortex, decompose and eat it bit by bit, cut the nine-headed demon Snake King into several pieces, and slowly digest each piece. This powerful Beast King had just died, and it was the time when the blood and flesh were the most vigorous. At this time, the effect of performing the swallowing Yuanju was much better. It was simply a feast for gluttony. While enjoying it, relying on such blood and flesh essence, his divine body grew very big. The naked eye could see that his totem beast body was getting bigger. At the same time, his source of destruction was also growing, and the two formed synchronization. Finally, after the entire giant nine-headed demon snake king was refined, he was still absorbing and refining the blood, flesh, essence, and pure divine source. After the absorption was completed, the weight of his divine body doubled, and the source of destruction also grew significantly, directly growing to the second level of the divine king realm. This breakthrough just shows the success of this path of cultivation. This is a perfect start. The leap from the first level to the second level of the divine king took less than a month. This is an incredible and unprecedented progress. I didn't expect that the ancient god realm and the god king realm were not my outbreak period. I got all the luck before, and I broke out completely when I reached the divine king realm. Now I can probably fight with many divine kings. Such a rapid speed, Zhang Zizhe himself was a little unresponsive. You know, some time ago, he was still fighting with young disciples in the Zilong Academy, and now he is in the ultimate battlefield belonging to the Divine King. He originally wanted to find the Dragon God King, but now he found that he had the power to protect himself, so he wanted to go on like this, just a quiet growth. He didn't know where his limit was, what he could do in 5 years, but from now on, he would cherish the means he had now, which was his only way to change his fate. Dignity, it's easy to say it's easy, but it's the hardest to say it's the hardest. After finishing the sorting, he set out on the journey again. The next goal was obvious, which was to find the Divine Beast King. Ordinary Divine Beasts had almost no effect on him. I hope there are more powerful Divine Beast Kings in this ancient realm. He continued to move forward. What exactly is that crystal fragment? Suddenly remembered the previous things. With such doubts, he finally met the second Divine Beast King Snow Mountain Giant Ant in the next half-month. This Snow Mountain Giant Ant is not stronger than the nine-headed Sky Demon Snake King, but it is better to have it than not to have it, and it at least has the capital to fight against the fifth level of the God King. Zhang Zizhe also worked very hard to finally defeat it with the help of the two great divine artifacts. This battle is much more difficult than defeating the nine-headed Sky Demon Snake King. It is true that there is no simple opponent to survive in the ancient realm. After performing the swallowing Yuanju to refine the Snow Mountain Giant Ant, Zhang Zizhe found that there was one thing left that could not be refined, and it turned out to be a crystal fragment. However, this fragment is very small, only about 1/3 of the fragment of the nine-headed Sky Demon God King. This is the same thing as that fragment, Zhang Zizhe can conclude. So the God King killed the nine-headed Sky Demon Snake King in order to collect this crystal fragment. Zhang Zizhe tried it, and the fragment could not be destroyed at all, which means it is definitely not an ordinary thing. He probably didn't know what it was for, but he discovered it by chance, so he started killing. This is a bad sign. Others will definitely realize this soon, and my competitors will soon increase. Perhaps the only consolation is that what they want is different from what he really wants from the divine beast. He put away the crystal fragment first and continued to walk west, looking for prey with the heavenly soul. There seemed to be no divine beast weaker than the divine beast king in this ancient realm, and the number of divine beast kings was not necessarily more than that of the divine kings, so the resources were very limited. Now with the addition of the crystal fragment, there are more competitors. If I'm lucky, I'll meet a divine beast king killed by someone else. This endless wilderness is full of dangers. He couldn't imagine how passive he would be if he didn't have the heavenly soul. Now, he has actually met many strong people, most of whom want to hunt him down, but unfortunately they all passed him by. He even met people from the Supreme Dragon clan, but maybe even they would attack him, so Zhang Zizhe also missed them perfectly. In the last month of this year, the 2018 Golden Festival event begins to select the annual works of 2018. Crazy needs the support of all Dragon brothers and sisters. Starting today, the event will last for 1 month. The rules are as follows. 1. During the event, users who purchase a small monthly package can get 1 appreciation ticket every day. 2. During the event, users who purchase a full site monthly package can get 3 appreciation tickets every day. 3. During the event, users can get 1 appreciation ticket for every 10 yuan spent, subscription of books, reward, within a week. 4. The appreciation tickets obtained during the event can only be used before 2400 hours on Sunday, and will be invalid after expiration. Please vote in time. Note: voting location, 17K, 17K, Novel Network Shenlong Totem book homepage, both computer and client are available. If you don't vote every day, it will be wasted immediately. If you have a full site monthly package, you will get 3 tickets every day. Crazy has been late in promoting it, so many people don't know about this. This is a duel between works and a competition of popularity. If you like this book, please vote for Holy Dragon Totem. Thank you. To be honest, from Dragon Blood War God to Tunshan Ji and now to Holy Dragon Totem, I have been working diligently. In the past few years, I have created more than 20 million words. For those who don't write, this is an astronomical figure. Sometimes it is really tiring, but it is also worth it because there are people who appreciate it and there are people who appreciate it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1251. After walking for quite some time, he estimated that this position was close to the center of the origin continent. In fact, if it was the real origin continent, with his current God King strength, it would only take him half a day to travel around the entire world. The reason why there is a difference now is that this is the ancient realm. The world level is different, and the suppression and restraint of the Kinkan space on the living beings are different. This is also the reason why the God domain ban prohibits the ancient gods from descending to the totem world, because the arrival of the ancient gods will destroy the stability of the Kinkan space of the totem world. The ancient god's source power is too strong, and it can easily cause devastating damage to the totem world and cause the living beings to suffer. The God domain ban is the natural rule of heaven and earth, and even the gods must abide by it. After all, living in this world is naturally restricted by the world. The power of the gods is obtained from the world. Everything here looks like the origin continent, but this is the ancient realm. If you act here as the origin continent, it is indeed wrong. But Zhang Zizhe believes that the key place of the origin continent is also likely to be the key place here. Therefore, he came to the Tianlong Holy Dynasty. Logically, his current location should be in the territory of the Tianlong Holy Dynasty. When he just came here, he ran into an acquaintance. But in fact, he was not familiar with her. Because this person was Yin Zijun from the Xing divine realm, the precious daughter of the Xing emperor. She should still act alone for the time being. Originally, Zhang Zizhe was too lazy to meet her, but when his Tianshen soul found her existence, she was being chased by a divine beast king. The divine beast king was a golden peng bird, very huge, with 3 pairs of golden wings. Each wing was like a golden sword that could cut the sky and the earth. At this time, the golden sword storm it burst out with its golden wings also made the shining star in front of it have to waste its escape. It can be seen that its body is already riddled with holes, which can be said to be very embarrassed, and the phenomenon is repeated. Even if it continues like this, she cannot rule out the possibility of being killed by this golden sword 6-winged peng bird. This scene was like an eagle chasing a rolling egg. The egg was already full of scratches and would break if squeezed. Zhang Zizhe looked at it a few more times and knew that Yin Zijun would not live long. Although this woman was extremely beautiful, she was too arrogant. Zhang Zizhe hated this kind of temper the most. Originally, they didn't bother each other and he might not bother to save her. But she happened to be running towards him, and she was miserable, so Zhang Zizhe didn't dodge. In fact, he was mainly eyeing the golden knife six-winged rock. Now he could treat any beast king he met as prey and food. Some of the strong ones were equivalent to raising them. This golden knife six-winged rock looked plump and should be able to be slaughtered. If it really didn't work, it should be relatively easy to escape. He did not dodge, and then a black star in front of him rushed towards the side like a meteor. Behind her was a huge golden peng bird, which tore the forest. Around it, countless golden knife lights surrounded its body. Every time its six wings were good at it, it could produce a large amount of golden knife energy, cutting the ear and making a harsh whistling sound. Then, as the knife energy burst out, it surged and violently, swarming towards Zhang Zizai and Yin Zijun. Wherever it went, all the flowers, trees, and rocks blocking the way could be turned into fragments. At this time, Yin Zijun had obviously seen Zhang Zizai, but she did not feel saved at all. She bypassed Zhang Zizai and continued to escape. I am afraid she thought that this might allow the golden knife six-winged peng bird to transfer prey. As long as it targeted Zhang Zizai, she would be safe. Zhang Zizai did not expect this person to be grateful to him. Instead, his target was the king of divine beasts. Recently, he found that it might be because everyone was hunting together that it was more difficult to find a king of divine beasts. Facing the violently charging golden knife six-winged rock, Zhang Zizai went into battle. This time he turned into a totem beast to fight. Although the chaos-devouring sky dragon was not as big as the rock, Zhang Zizai, who had a 10 times holy dragon body, had never been afraid of anyone in terms of flesh and blood. Especially at this time, the 9 dragon chaos divine bells protected the body, and the division of labor of the 9 giant bells was in place, controlling what should be controlled and protecting what should be protected. As for the ancient black fire pillar, Zhang Zizai's dragon claws could also be used. Although it looked weird, a dragon held a huge black stick with flames burning on it, and when the golden rock rushed over, he directly smashed it with a stick. Of course, on his primordial black fire pillar, not only the primordial black fire burned the soul, he also integrated the power of time and space into it. After the heavenly soul grew stronger, the lethality of the time-breaking blade and the sky-splitting slash became much stronger. For example, Zhang Zizai's blow at this time was accompanied by the power of the infinite time-breaking blade, which directly hit the golden knife wings that the flying golden knife six-winged Dapen bird was resisting. Bang! The golden knife six-winged Dapen bird was burned very painfully by the primordial black fire, and was also fixed by the time-breaking blade for a moment. At this moment, it even stopped the golden storm around it. The next moment, the primordial black fire pillar relied on this stagnant moment, carrying the totem power of the infinite sky-splitting slash, and smashed it again. This time, it was not only burned by fire, but also torn apart in space. This was a double impact of the soul and the body, and the opponent was still under the control of the time-breaking blade and was not prepared at all. Bang! Another blow of the stick made the Beast King scream. Divine beasts are often weak in spirit and soul, but strong in flesh, so they were restrained by Zhang Zizai. He met this guy directly and gave him a head-on blow. Before the golden knife six-winged rock could react, Zhang Zizai, who was holding the ancient black fire pillar, hit it with stick after stick, almost equivalent to returning all the injuries on Yin Zijun to the Beast King. To be honest, the golden knife six-winged rock didn't find him at the beginning, so it was stunned from beginning to end and didn't even have a chance to resist. Chaos Soul Bell. At this time, Zhang Zizai's big killer Chaos Soul Bell directly covered his forehead, and the requiem began to sound, which was completely controlled by Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul. Although the Chaos Soul Bell and the ancient black fire pillar are both soul-type attack heavenly artifacts, they actually require different mental and physical efforts. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1252. The Chaos Soul Bell's Requiem and soul-killing song required Zhang Zizai to use a large part of his divine soul to control and play the song, But the ancient black fire pillar did not require that. It only required Zhang Zizai to attack with his divine body. As long as he smashed the opponent, he could stimulate the power of the ancient black fire pillar. Therefore, Zhang Zizai could use both together without any impact. As soon as the Requiem was played, the Divine Beast King had already lost his soul. His eyes rolled back and he was completely lost. He looked staggering. The golden storms around him swept everywhere and could not find Zhang Zizai's position at all. Zhang Zizai held the ancient black fire pillar and hit him with one stick after another. His soul, which was not strong to begin with, died directly under the suppression of the two divine artifacts. If the soul is destroyed first, then even if the body is intact, the soul dies and the person dies. This golden knife six-winged rock was directly dealt with by Zhang Zizai in a very terrifying way. As expected, after its soul was killed, it spit out a crystal fragment from its mouth, allowing Zhang Zizai to easily take it in his hand. This is the third crystal fragment he has taken. Originally, he was going to directly devour the blood, flesh, spirit, and divine source of the golden knife six-winged rock, but now someone is staring at him straight behind him, so Zhang Zizai naturally didn't do it first. After all, he couldn't let others see how he practiced, otherwise they would get rid of the body of the Beast King in order to curb him. He turned into a human form and looked back. Yan Zijun was standing on the ground, with a grey face, pale face, and some trembling body. She was probably still a little confused because she hadn't reacted to the fear of death. "Thank you for saving my life." Finally, she bowed her head slightly. The fact is very obvious. If it weren't for Zhang Zizai, she would probably not be alive today. Zhang Zizai thought she would repay evil with kindness and take a fancy to the treasure on his body. Unexpectedly, she would actually thank him. It seems that she is not bad at heart. Don't be moved. It's just a small favor. Go away. Zhang Zizai waved his hand. He wanted the other party to leave quickly so that he could enjoy the feast in front of him. To be honest, when he was a child, he often caught birds with Lu Dingxing and others to roast and eat. Now the scene is similar, but the bird has become much bigger. He wanted her to leave early. "You don't ask for compensation," Yan Zijun said in a bit of surprise. "Can you have something that I am interested in? This body is not bad. Do you want to give me a meal? My skills are okay." Zhang Zizai glanced at her. The woman was tall and slender, with round and slender thighs, which was the highlight of her body. Her face was also very beautiful, and there was no flaw at all. "Go away, you're dreaming." Yan Zijun rolled her eyes. She was calm now, but she didn't mean to leave. Instead, she looked at Zhang Zizai and said, "You've become a god king in such a short time. You're not blind. You saw it just now," Zhang Zizai said. "But the six-winged rock with a golden knife just now has at least the combat power of the 5th level of the God King. Even if you become a God King, you can't kill it with just the heavenly artifact. Even if you have 2 heavenly artifacts, it's impossible. At most, you can only deal with the 4th level of the God King." She was suspicious, because she had no idea that Zhang Zizai had already reached the 2nd level of the God King realm. There are so many things you can't figure out. Zhang Zizai was too lazy to pay attention to her. He still waved his hand and said, "People with different ideals cannot work together. Get out of here quickly and don't bother me." He has always been impatient, and now he even said the word "get out," which made Yan Zijun angry and said, "I was going to be polite to you because you saved my life, but I didn't expect you to be so rude and mean. Don't worry, I will return this favor to you, but I will never say anything good to you again, trash." After saying that, she turned her waist, turned around and left angrily. Finally left. Although the ancient realm was lonely, Zhang Zizai didn't want anyone to stay around him for too long, even if it was a great beauty. He needed a lot of private time now. After the people left, he didn't waste time and quickly began to refine the blood, flesh, soul, and divine source of the golden knife six-winged rock. The divine beast king was too big, so he had to take his time, but the whole process was as smooth as before. After all, he had the swallowing Yuanju and chaos swallowing heaven in his hands, so there was basically no problem. After eating it all, he had to digest it for a while. He turned into a human form and sat cross-legged on the ground. In fact, the divine body of the totem beast had grown a lot stronger this time, and the divine source was even stronger. After 2 consecutive refinements, it was actually close to the 3rd level of the divine king realm. Zhang Zizai was very satisfied with such progress. He was about to leave after the final refining, but he didn't expect that the heavenly soul had seen it in advance. Yin Zijun actually came back, and there was also a young man with long red hair who was traveling with him. The young man had a strange appearance, half male and half female, ghostly and handsome, and was probably also a person from the galaxy divine realm. According to the heavenly soul, the realm of this young man is still within Zhang Zizai's tolerance, so he ignored it and continued to refine the golden knife six-winged rock. When the refining was just finished and everything was digested, Yin Zijun and that person just arrived. When Zhang Zizai opened his eyes, he saw that Yin Zijun's expression was still a little distressed. "What are you doing back again?" Zhang Zizai asked. "Where is the golden knife six-winged rock just now?" Yin Zijun asked in surprise. "I roasted it and ate it," Zhang Zizai said. "Nonsense," she curled her lips and said, "this is my cousin, the Martian god King Yin and sang." "Okay, don't talk." The red-haired man looked at Zhang Zizai with a cold look and said, "The 2 realms talisman and the ancient black fire god pillar are in your hands. If I kill you, I can get them, right?" Sure enough, he got straight to the point. "That's right, but I'm her savior." "Are you sure you want to repay kindness with enmity?" Zhang Zizai was amused. How shameless was this? It was simply outrageous. Yin Zijun said quickly, "It's none of my business. I just happened to meet him and told him what happened. He returned in the direction I went. I didn't show him the way. What's the need to explain? This is the ancient realm, where the fittest survive. He saved you just because he coveted your beauty. Who can understand this? In addition, how important are the 2 world talisman and the ancient black fire pillar? Don't you think they are important? You don't need to do anything, just stand aside." Yin Enchang stood up. It seems that his status in the galaxy divine realm is quite high, otherwise, he can't talk to Yin Zijun like this.